This is Support is Sexy, episode 40 with, wait, can you believe it's episode 40? Oh my gosh. Welcome to the Support is Sexy podcast. I'm your host, Elaine Fluker, entrepreneur, author, producer, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I talk to women entrepreneurs who share their journeys and the true stories of their wins and their lessons and give you insight and inspiration to take your business and your life to the next level. Here we go. Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. It is Feel Good Friday, and I'm feeling good because this is episode 40 in the past 6 weeks. I cannot believe it. I am so excited about it, and I just want to take a second to say thank you to all of you for joining me because, as I always say, it would not be the same without you. It has been an incredible ride, and I know it's just going to get better. So I was trying to think of something to do today for the top 40 episodes. They are my top 40, the first 40. And I was thinking about what to do, and I thought of, I've been learning a lot from all of the fantastic women that I've been able to interview, that I've been able to get to know. Even the women I already knew before doing the podcast, I learned even more about them. And I'm a list person, as I may have mentioned before. And I've been keeping a list of just things that I've learned from these women. I don't know what I'm going to do with it other than applying it to my own business and my own life. But it's a running list of things that I've learned. Really, it's a list, too, of things that many of them have repeated in their own way, which has been very interesting. And that's when I really pay attention. It sounds good when you first hear it, but when you hear several people who you admire and respect saying the same thing over again, you might want to listen. And that's exactly what I did. I listened and I also wrote it down. So today for the top 40, what I decided to do, no, I'm not going to share 40 lessons, although I did think about that. But it's Friday. We want to take it easy. I want to give you small bites. So I decided to do 4 of the top lessons that I've learned from these women. Again, I have a running list of at least 40, probably more, but I wanted to give 4 that I really thought stood out and that you can take with you into the weekend. So one of those lessons is from Karen Taylor Bass, actually. She mentioned it. Several people have in different ways, but Karen said, your passion will fuel you, but it won't keep you. Focus on your gifts. And your gifts are something that come to you naturally, that you just know how to do, that you do maybe without even thinking about it. I know for me, one of my struggles was trying to figure out what my gift is in a way that I could package it. And as Amanda Miller Littlejohn says, package your genius. She has a whole academy around packaging your genius, because a lot of us struggle in that space to figure out what is my genius, first of all, and then how do I package that to be able to offer it to the world as a service, as an entrepreneur, and to be able to provide some kind of contribution and benefit to people. So Karen says we have passions, all of us do, but we also have gifts, and we need to focus on our gifts. Our gifts are the things that will take us through the long haul, down the line. Your passion is something, actually, I believe she didn't say this, but I'm saying I believe your passion is something that can change over time. And not that your gifts can't change as well, but when you tap into your gifts, I think it's a different kind of magic, a different kind of genius. You've tapped into your genius. So for me, as I said on that journey, figuring out, for me, I love writing. Writing is a passion, which I think it always will be. But one of my gifts is really connecting people. Thus, it has become Support is Sexy, this whole idea of connecting and empowering women, whether that's through social media, through this podcast, and in so many other ways to come. So that is one of my gifts that I am packaging and sharing with the world. So your passion will fuel you, but it won't keep you. Focus on your gifts and package your genius. Another lesson that I learned is the importance of saying yes more often. Studies show that women actually underestimate themselves. So we often say no to opportunities that we probably could have, one, benefited from, but been able to do better than anyone or as good as anyone else. But often we don't even give ourselves a chance, much less have someone else give us a chance. So a lot of the women that I've spoken to, Barbara Bijou, Jennifer Love, have talked about the importance of saying yes. And another part of that is saying yes even before you think you're ready. Now, not in a way that you think you'll, actually, you know what? even if you think you're going to fail at it. If it's something that you really want to do, you should say yes, because you will find a way. You will figure it out. You can bring in other people to support you to figure it out, whatever it is. But say yes before saying no and see if you can figure it out. We often just doubt ourselves from the very beginning and don't give ourselves a chance. Jennifer Love also said, say yes and. She said on her episode, go back and listen to it, because she talked about how to deal with investors and work with investors when you're pitching your business. She said, say yes and. So when you have something in your company, maybe it's not to the level that it should be by the time you're in that meeting, or you're figuring something out, or you're moving through some area and a potential investor asks you about it, you say, yes, and we're doing this in order to address that. Yes, and. Yes, and. And I thought that was really powerful when you're pitching your business, and to prepare yourself in general when you're working on something, when you're having a conversation with someone who might be interested in a service. If there's some place that they address that feels like it's not actually to whatever point yet, say how you're addressing it. Don't say, oh, I know I need to fix that and that. Okay, you need to fix that. Yes, and this is what I'm doing to fix that. So I thought that was a really powerful lesson. That's another one that we learned. And another lesson is to ask empowered questions. Connie De Silva, Sylvia High, whose episode you actually haven't heard yet. Hers is coming up very soon. It's a great one. And also Patricia Moreno of Intensati talks about the importance of asking empowered questions. So a question that is not an empowered question is, why is this going wrong? Will I ever be able to fix this? An empowered question might be, how can I move forward with this? How can I fix this? What can I do to make this right? What am I going to do at this point to move forward? What kind of resources do I need to move forward? And one of the things that Patricia also talked about was living the question and knowing that you will figure it out. Please go back and listen to her episode. Patricia Moreno, Intensati is her workout routine, her workout program that's just brilliant. And she talks about living the question. So, for example, when you're trying to figure out what business to form, or maybe you have an idea of your business and you're trying to figure out how to make it into something that feels unique and special to you and that you can offer to other people. Be different. Different is better than better, is what they say. So if you're thinking about it and you are trying to figure out what you need to do, what resources you need, everything. You've said yes to it, right? We talked about that. Now you're trying to figure out how to do it. You're asking yourself the empowered question, how can I move forward with this? Live the question. Constantly live the question. Think about it. Don't stress over it. That's different. But living the question, having it in you, because it opens you up to the right opportunity when it comes along. And I have been a witness to this, but I never knew exactly what it was until Patricia actually said it, and Connie also said it as well. Asking empowered questions and living the question. How can I figure this out? What needs to happen for me to make this happen? And then things start to come to you, not to sound too woo-woo, but from the universe. I truly believe that things show up in ways you never could expect. One of the things I always say on this podcast and in life is let go of the how. A lot of times, the way you think it's going to happen, that's not how it's going to happen. It's going to come another way. Or it might come that way, and it might come through someone you never expected. Or it might be some place you never expected. But when you're open and you're living the question, it will show up. The answer will eventually show up. You just have to be in the space to receive it. So that was another truly great lesson that we learned in these first 40 episodes. I'm so giddy about that. Another thing that came up is remembering your why. Now, we know the Simon Sinek book about remembering your why and start with your why, and also his TED Talk, which is fabulous about that. So please make sure you go and watch that on your own. But Moshe Loren, who was one of our past guests, talked really about remembering your why. She actually mentioned Simon Sinek's book. But it's so important to remember why you're starting your business, why you're doing this service, why you want to make this offer to the world, which doesn't mean that your business has to be completely altruistic and about serving people or being a nonprofit, I should say. It should always serve people. But why are you doing it? What's the reason that you're starting it? Why do you do it? Why do you love it? Why do you love what you're doing? That taps into your passion. But then, of course, as we said, think about what your gifts are. But remembering your why. Your why is also what people buy into. Your what might be great. You might have a great product, which that TED Talk I mentioned talks about in detail and gives a very good example of the difference between Apple the company and some other companies, we bought into their why. The why is what really resonates with people. And don't set up a business from, even though there are people who do this and perhaps they are successful, but I would say one of the lessons that I learned from the top 40 in remembering your why is also to don't set up a business that's just from a place of ego. And I've talked openly about how I think my first business or my first version of the business with chicrebellion.tv may have been done from a place of ego, wanting to serve people. This is something that I think we need as women of color, a place where we can watch videos and things to see ourselves in motion. Of course, something needed, something necessary, but was it from a place of how can I serve these women? What do they want? What do they need? That's really what I've been looking at. And that is something that goes back to what is your why? And then it also helps you get to the space of if you need to pivot, which I've done recently with Chic Rebellion, if you need to pivot and think about a new way of giving this kind of information or a new way of presenting your business or a new way of connecting with people. Getting ego out of the way and focusing on your why allows you to do that, because ego will make you hold on to the thing that you think, well, this is the thing I started with, or this is the safe way, because ego is all about keeping us safe, right? Years ago, it was from tigers. Today, it's from rejection. So we have to remember our why and know that this is what we have to tap into if we want to build businesses that are truly meaningful to us and to other people. How are you making people's lives better? What is your why? So those are some of the great top 4 lessons from the top 40 episodes of Support is Sexy. And as I said, I am so thrilled to have you guys here. I hope it has been chock full of lessons for you. In fact, email me and tell me some of the lessons that you may have learned from the first 40 episodes. I would love to hear from you, and I'll read those emails on a later episode if you like, unless they're deeply personal. My email is Elaine, ELAYNE, at ElaineFluker.com. So that's Elaine at ELAYNE, F as in Frank, LUKER.com. I would love to hear from you, love to hear what you think of the show, love to hear what you think of the past episodes, and as I said, the lessons that you may have learned from anything that the women have said here. It's been chock full of, I will say, business advice, but for me, even life lessons. Another bonus that I'll add in, which is on my list, but wasn't on the list of things that I was going to share today. Women who cry at work or in their business. I have been taught, or maybe I haven't been taught it, I have always thought that you just don't let people see you cry in a professional work business environment. I just thought of it as a sign of weakness. I actually would be bothered when women cried in public or in a space, in a meeting or something like that, because I just felt, oh, be stronger. But that's not always the best choice. And as some of the women have talked about, the importance of showing your passion. I'm not saying don't cry, don't have feelings and that kind of thing. I'm saying excuse yourself, go to the bathroom and cry. But no, these women have really taught me the importance of tapping into that passion and allowing that to show when it needs to. Now, of course, don't be a breakdown and a nervous wreck in the meetings. And if that's the case, we need some other kind of support. But one of the things that they told me and told all of us is not being afraid to show that emotion. So I said that, added that in, because that is actually a life lesson, really tapping into that. I wouldn't even say that's your feminine side, but it's a different kind of emotional part of you that we all need to not be afraid to show. So I hope you enjoyed this. I really am excited this Friday. I can't wait to continue. We have some great interviews coming up next week. A lot more lessons, a lot more love, a lot more support for you all to continue to grow your business and create a life that you love. Another thing that I want you to do, go to the website and look at all of the past episodes, our first 40 from these women, supportissexypodcast.com. You can go there, you can search by name, you can see all of the episodes, read all about them, learn how to get in touch with them. It's the place where everything is, so you can see all of these great women and hear from them and hear what they had to say and all the lessons that I'm summarizing here, but there are plenty more. So until next time, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.